Okay, here we go. Hello, everybody. This is Sahavas for everyone. We are doing a year of 12 ways of realizing me, and each month is a number. And number 11 of 12 ways of realizing me is surrender. And can you all see my screen? If I share my screen, let me try this. Can you see this screen here? Can you see that?
It's loading.
It's
There it
yeah,
is.
there it is.
Okay. I'm going to start, and then I'm going to turn it over to Vanessa and then to Jack. I was contemplating what to share tonight, and two things came to mind. One is, well, three things actually. One is this from the seven realities, because both 12 ways of realizing me and the seven realities have surrender. And Baba said the only real surrender is that in which the poise is undisturbed by any adverse circumstances, and the individual, amidst every kind of hardship, is resigned with perfect calm to the will of God. And then I didn't know this other part, but I'm going to read it anyway. This message was especially significant because for the first time, Baba ordered thousands of copies of it printed and then sent to his disciples and followers throughout India in order for them to distribute it wherever they lived. And then it says, thousands and thousands of copies of this message were handed out through India and then sent to Europe and America in the beginning months of 1941. Baba's mandali were sent out to various cities in India, instructed particularly to give it to priests and persons in charge of temples, mosques, ashrams, and churches. 1941, World War II was in full swing, so this would have been during the war that Baba had this message sent out around the world. So very interesting for me. And Vanessa, you had said something about poise. Do you want me to remind you what you said about it?
Sure.
You had said hardly anyone these days talks about poise. I think that is a lost concept, but it is absolutely intrinsic for walking on the spiritual path. Otherwise, karma is there. Can you tell us what you meant when you said those things? What did you mean by all that?
Yeah, sure. Well, I think that, it's popular today to try to, express oneself and figure out how to be authentic and all of the, the kind of trends that are happening. But poise is something that one has when they have their mind, under control. They're no longer, unnecessarily expressing thoughts or words that would be harmful to other people or their heart or to even your progress on the path. So, and that takes an incredible amount of strength. And so I think poise is directly related to strength, and it's really the true power because you have to surrender, a desire, right, to share your anger or try to get your viewpoint or feel like if you're right about something. It's like a not just a surrender, but a sublimation of your inner life. But poise, it brings, I think it's like a direct road to unity. You automatically connect yourself in a way to your fellow travelers on the path, by exhibiting that strength so that you can actually be a force of love for others in their lives and be someone that can be relied upon to you know to choose the truth.
So are you implying that having poise and surrender makes you more trustworthy?
I absolutely. I think it's like it's integrity and
Mm-hmm.
um, fortitude.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Awesome.
Um, yeah, but I think that, when you go off the path of it's not a judgment, it's we all have the weaknesses. So when we're not able to have poise, if we act out or we do something, karma's there for the truing. It's like a rudder on the ship. So if we go a little off course, right? Karma's there and it wakes us up like, oh, we're going off course. It's just like a little bit of that. And so that's his compassion, actually, is the karma.
I love
I
what
mean,
you're saying, love.
yeah, I mean, we think of it as judgment. I mean, but it's all love. It's all him. It's all his compassion. His ultimate goal is that we find him. So, I mean, it's like our gift to not just to ourselves, but to him to choose that poise, to have that poise, to work for that poise.
Right.
He finds us.
Yes, he does.
Right.
Can I ask, so we arrived 2 minutes late and into a very juicy conversation. Was there a question or a topic? And then
Yes.
my second thing is I'd love to be introduced to some of these faces that are new to us.
Sure. I'll start with what the topic is, and then we can go around and everybody can introduce themselves. When it's your turn, you can say the name you like to be called and where you're calling in from. The topic is Surrender Part 2 because it's 12 ways of realizing me all year. And we do each month a different way, and it's still November. So it's Part 2 of Surrender, which is the 11th way of realizing Baba. I'll go last. Who wants to introduce themselves? How do you like to be called and where are you calling in from?
I'll go first. I'd like to be called Jack, and I'm calling in from Charleston, South Carolina. I'm in Laurent and Vanessa's home. They've invited me to stay with them graciously for the week. So that's where I am from, or where I'm calling from.
Someone want to come off mute and go next?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you, Jack. Sorry, I'll jump in. My name's Elias, or I'd like to be called Elias, and I am calling from Libertyville, Illinois.
Welcome.
Where's
Elias.
that? Where's that?
That is about an hour north of Chicago.
Can we add another bullet point? Like how long you've been with Baba or something personal about you and Baba?
Yeah, absolutely.
Is that okay, Laurent?
I'd like to get through the introductions first and then add. Let's
Okay.
go once through everybody, and then we can start opening it up for adding.
That makes no sense.
Okay, I'm Vanessa. I'm Laurent's wife, and I'm also here in Charleston.
I'm Diane Ullman. I'm here with my wife. We're in Venice Beach, California.
And I'm Terry. J. Baba.
J. Bob.
I'm Betty.
Josh, I'm on the bus.
You what?
I don't know.
Oh,
Say it again.
Said he's Josh and he's on the bus.
Oh.
I'm
I'm Betty.
down under on the bus.
On, I think. I'm Betty, also from California.
I'm Laurent. I'm calling in from Arizona because I had to visit a client here and I get to go home tomorrow. Okay, I do have more to share about surrender, but I want to honor Diane's wish. So Diane, can you make it a question that's open to the possibility that people are new to Baba? Can you make it a question like that?
If they're new to Baba or
Can you ask your question? Can you add your point as if somebody might be new to Baba rather than making an assumption? Can you ask the question that more open-ended?
when do you feel that Baba resonated
Well, that's
in your heart? Because some people got turned on to Baba, they saw a picture and they remember that moment, or they were born into a Baba family and there was a shift of when Baba became their own.
Okay. And again, when I run these or facilitate these sessions, there's no requirement to share. Listening is also participating. Open questions are opportunities. They're not requirements. So who wants to answer Diane's question?
Well, I'll jump in because I'm a new face. This is my first time here. thank you for welcoming me. I was first introduced to Baba through Jack, who's here on the call. And I'm not sure where I am exactly on my journey, but Jack often shares me the words of Baba and photos of Baba, and they always resonate with me on a spiritual level. So and Jack invited me to be here tonight, and I wanted to get to see him and be with him, and then meet you people, because sorry, not you people, but you know what I mean.
Welcome, Elias. I'm
Yes.
very happy that you're here.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Yeah, welcome. It's so good to meet some of Jack's friends.
Yeah, it's so
Yeah.
good to have you here. And I'll go next. I'm Jack again. And for me, I was reading Baba's words that first got me hooked. And then the next level was watching a video on YouTube for the first time. I think it was the Oprah Vartigar video, but seeing Baba move, I thought, I think if God exists and we're born as a man, that's what he would look like. That's what I remember thinking.
So cute.
It's awesome.
He's gorgeous.
I came to Baba in 72. Yes, 1972. Been with ever since.
I became a Baba lover in 2015. I was born in a Baba family, but I was never interested until 2015, and then I've been really interested ever since. When I get off the bus, maybe I'll chat more. Yes.
Awesome. I first saw Mayor Baba's photograph inside of his Universal Message in the spring of 1986. And when I first saw his eyes, when my eyes met his eyes, I knew he was my master before I knew really who he was. So I say to people, I've spent the last time since then figuring out who he is, but I recognized him first.
Wow, that's amazing.
I got turned on to Baba originally when Terry did in 2012, and then we went to India in 2013. And that's when Baba took my heart. Because I was a political lefty and I believed in MSNBC. And but it wasn't until COVID hit and I started getting involved in Baba Zoom that it felt like boot camp for me. And I listened to people who have read Baba, who have studied Baba, who knew Baba, who experienced Baba in all sorts of ways. And then one day I finally understood what faith meant. I had never understood faith in my life, and that changed everything for me.
Wow.
I want to honor that Ben joined and he might not have heard your question, Diane. Can you repeat your question for Ben?
When did you lose your virginity? No, that was not the question. The question, he's too dark. No, good. He's smiling. I can see good. Almost smile. Thank you.
You really want to know?
No, I do, but that's not on the recording. The question had to do with when Baba truly resonated in your heart.
So, I think Baba came to me in a different form, a formless form that first, when I was about in my early to mid teens somewhere, I was very fortunate to be raised around hold on, there's a very noisy car driving by, and I'm actually getting on the highway right now. So
You better.
probably best I just keep this short. But I was surrounded by a lot of love and I'm really a very fortunate. Let me shut the sunroof here. I can hear better. I'm a very fortunate person. I had a mom who owned a hair salon. There was a lot of diversity. My dad was gay. I went to like all these like uh, schools that had a very good mixture of racial ethnicities and things. And um, so I was really fortunate. There was so much love and creativity and acceptance around me, and I wasn't pushed to be. There was no dogma. There was no talk of God or spirituality, which was something I really kind of longed for because it was kind of missing. And I started to make contact with infinite intelligence, God, and I wasn't at first I wasn't even convinced it really was God. I thought I might have just been role playing or something in my mind, and then it started to like answer questions and guide me. And it's kind of funny you asked me like when I lost my virginity, because it was actually when I started to get horny and I was being prompted by my friends to try drugs and things and smoke some weed and, get with girls and all this stuff, that I literally just told God straight up, I'm going to fuck this up, because I could feel God's purity and love and perfection. And I knew that I wasn't going to be able to measure up to that with these super strong urges I was having. And God basically said, yeah, I know you are. So let me introduce you to someone. And that was this like personification of God as a person, as an elder brother, which at the time I thought was Jesus, which now I believe was Baba. So speeding up far ahead, in about uh, my late 20s, early 30s, I saw Baba's picture in a counselor's office. And then I asked him some questions, didn't think about Baba for about 10 or 15 years. And then around 2014, Baba came to me on my walks, on my lunch breaks at work, and all throughout my day. It was just Baba, 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 Baba all the time. And I went to all the spiritual bookstores in Tulsa. I went to Barnes and Noble. They're like, Maher who? No one knew who he was. No one had any books. So finally, I ended up getting The Awakener by Charles Haynes. And after that, it's just been nothing but love, increasing love, intensification of love all the time for Baba. Sometimes I can't stand him and I've kind of vacillated in and out, but more and more I stay with him more and more, and I leave him less and less. And sorry for the super long explanation, because I love him so much. I could freaking talk about it for the next, 3 hours straight easily, but I'll stop.
Thanks for sharing all that, Ben. That was beautiful. I had two more things to share. Oh, Diane, Terry, you have something?
Well,
Jay
Terry
Baba.
didn't tell you her
Hey,
answer.
Oh, Terry's turn. Terry's turn.
Sorry.
Um, I got turned on to Bubba by a friend, and he opened my heart and changed my life in such a radical way that there's no going back.
Yeah, I feel
Hey,
that way too.
Bubba.
I feel that way too. What I sometimes tell people is, at this point, next year is my 40th anniversary with Baba. I say, I'm so far in that I don't really care if he's the avatar or not. I mean, it doesn't matter to me anymore. I'm just all along for the ride. I don't I don't judge that anymore. It's just who I am. Um, I want to share two more things, and then we can just open it up for whatever we want. Can you see this if I share this? Yes.
It's loading. There it is.
It's page 3,848 of Lord Maher in 1955. Baba was talking about surrender. He says, surrender is so difficult. I myself would not be able to do it. To descend as the avatar is easy, but to surrender mind, body, and soul is impossible. Hafiz says, whatever the master says, accept it with all your heart without thinking. If I tell you I will visit your house tomorrow, but don't, and again promise, and don't come, and continue doing like this, you should not think about it. There should not be the slightest doubt in your mind. but who can trust this human mind? Hafiz says, because you cannot grasp them yourself. Do not tell lies about truths you hear from a master. When a Sadguru, which means a perfect master, says something, you cannot understand what he means. So if you do not follow him, you should not come to the conclusion that he is telling a lie. If you say the perfect master is lying, then it is you yourself who are lying because you cannot grasp what he says. From here, you should all go directly to your respective homes. Do not break your journey for pilgrimage along the way. To come to me is in itself difficult, and therefore, when you go straight home. We talked about that, Jack, when we were in India. If you do not do it, it would mean you coming to me here is half-hearted. It would mean you had not come here exclusively for me. So the reason I wanted to share that is Baba here is saying it's so hard to surrender. Even if he was a pilgrim, if he was a seeker, he'd have a hard time doing it too. It's not just, talking about spirituality. It's difficult. And so then the question becomes, what does it actually mean to surrender? I know Jack had something to share and others probably have something to share, but I wanted to share my understanding of what it means to surrender. It's a simple thing. I have desires. Vanessa alluded to it in the beginning. I have desires. I have wants, right? I want. I desire. When I want and I desire, that's my self-will. Then over here somewhere is what Baba wants for me. So if I can not have my ego and my desires driving me, and I can start to come over towards what Baba wants, that's surrender. It means aligning my self-will with the divine will. And if I can do that, I'm surrendering. If I just follow my desires all the time, how's that spirituality? It's not. All right. I think Ben's trying to talk, but he's on mute. Maybe he's talking to somebody in the car.
But maybe Joshua is no longer on the bus.
Well, let's try.
Yeah, it's so it's so funny because I can see how my desires cause me so much issues. And then, it's like things like just controlling little things in my life. And then I get so stressed out about controlling things in my life. And then I can also see that like relaxing and the state of going with whatever life is giving me can be so incredible and brings me so much peace and joy. And then so it's interesting that I have that tug of war inside of me, the part of me that wants to sort of be equipoised and is willing to basically relax into whatever is happening. And then there's the part of me that wants to control everything. So yes, so I can see I have a foot on both sides, and then I struggle, and then so sometimes I'm better at surrendering, and then sometimes I'm not good at surrendering. And yeah, but I think it's good. It's good to talk about it because, like, yes, the other day I was just doing a lot of like just basically trying to let go, and really when I can let go, I'm happier a lot of the time. And it's funny that it's my hand that is so often stopping me from letting go, or just releasing and relaxing. And when I can do it, sometimes it can be blissful, really ecstatic just to be resting and not trying to control every tiny little thing in life, because there are just so many little bits in life that just need so much energy to try and work on them. So yeah, basically, it's a good subject. It's a good reminder for me. I'm going to try a little bit to keep on doing it. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you, Josh. I see Terry's hand up.
Okay.
Oh, thank you. I think that for me, when I let Baba take the wheel and I let go, and it really does work out the way it should. And we've retired, so our thing is to travel. And packing for me was always, it was like a nightmare. I don't know why. It's too much for me. And years ago, I told Baba, can't you just help me pack? And I end up packed like a week before we're even leaving. The suitcase is open, but he just slowly reminds me of the things that I need or I would want. And I totally let go. I don't even look at my list until I'm all done. So I don't know if I let go, like you were saying, Joshua, if you let go and let him do it, he does it, and he does it way better than I could do it by myself. But
Super awesome. Thank you.
you got to take a breath and let it go.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Ben, you got your hand up.
I think it's interesting. Oh, hold on. I'm muted, aren't I?
Nope, you're not
Oh, I'm
muted.
not. Sweet. Okay. I like this part about how he says it's impossible to surrender mind, body, and spirit, right? It reminds me of it's impossible to become what you already are, because to surrender all would require you to still be the thing that you would have to surrender. That's why it's impossible.
Right, and it's a paradox, right? Because he still wants us to strive at the same time, and then there's grace. So it's all like a spiritual paradox.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And I just want to say too how this group is so beautiful. I'm so inspired by so many of you. So many beautiful people in here right now. Just very high vibe room tonight.
Thank you, Ben. Jack, did you want to share something? I thought you brought something to share.
Yes, I did. Yeah, I have a Baba quote to share, which is this: understanding has no meaning, love has meaning, obedience has more meaning, and the holding of my Daman has most meaning. And I want to say something about that also, which is that to just, in case anybody doesn't know, Daman is a word that refers to the hem of his outfit that he would wear, and he would actually grab the hem and say to people, hold on to this. And part of that is I think, I don't know if he explained this, but the it helps to imagine a child with their mother holding onto the mother's dress in a marketplace. The mother's running around the market picking things, grocery shopping, and the child has to hold on in order to stay safe. And to make that leap from that story to what surrender means to me, I think of the present moment as being surrender. So, and what Baba's will is, because, well, and then that makes me think of another quote from Mother Teresa, because someone was asking her, how do we know God's will? And she says, it's what's happening. And I love that so much. And so, taking all these things together, the present is God's will, it's what's happening, and that holding onto Baba's Daman is like staying in the present and realizing that this is it. And it's not that we are at the goal, but it's an impossible task to will ourselves to that point. So we just have to stick to him. Just keep going through the motion, really, I guess. We're along for the ride. So that's surrender in my nutshell.
I love that, Jack. I love that. And I'm reminded with the marketplace, if you're holding on to the mother in the marketplace, you may want to go here and there, right? You may see something that's really alluring, like the stall with all the toys or some alley and something's down the alley. But if you hold on to the mother, you're not going to those places. You're sticking with where the
Oh,
mother goes.
that's a great thing to add. Absolutely. Because even though it feels like, holding on is such an impossible task, it also, and everyone else seems to be saying the same thing, it's clear to us that things go better when we have this right mindset, when we keep focused on surrender rather than being letting our desires dictate our lives, because we all have that experience. When our desires are dictating our lives, we end up in miserable situations. And Bob also says that, like, most of our human suffering is self-imposed by our worrying about things.
Such a powerful statement too. Understanding has no meaning, right? It's like,
Yeah. I want to.
overstanding also has no meaning. It's actually not even a word. Just thought I'd mention that.
Overstand.
Thank you, Ben. I want to read Joshua's quote from the chat. He said, "Yes, reminds me of the quote that paraphrased is something like, live more and more in the present moment, which is ever beautiful and stretches far beyond the past and future." I think you did a great job of remembering that quote, Joshua.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
That's Baba, yeah.
Right. Yeah. Mayor Bawa. Right.
And it's funny because he was so good at being that equipoise thing, and the surrender thing. Like there were the moments like doing ridiculous fasts and traveling during extremely dangerous periods and places and like with hours without sleep. Like some of his skills at doing that was just incredible. Like beyond what I can even fathom. Like so yes. So I guess so it's just I guess in that way it's good to see that there are people out there that can do that. There are people out there that can be, like the rock amidst the storm, and the strong wind blows on all sides and they just remain completely firm and still. So it's
Yeah.
inspiring to me. Yeah.
It's inspiring to me too. Vanessa, how long was your juice fast that you just did?
Oh, well, this one I just went 36 days, but I've done longer.
Wow. That's incredible.
On
Very
juice.
equipoised, very
On juice.
surrendering.
36.
36 days of just
Here's the thing
juice.
I learned though. I was using my willpower to do the juice fast. But when I was going through my divorce, I was trying to use my willpower to have equipoise, and it didn't work. The only thing that worked was surrendering to his will for me. Because when I tried to like exert my personal will to not be affected or to like, I mean, I was just going to have emotions. I'm human, right? But I was really trying my best to be like the better person and try to show up, really loving. And I just found myself at effect to all of the emotions I was having. I mean, I didn't act bad. I just was, inwardly like there was a storm inside. And I was quite disappointed that I couldn't control the storm, that I couldn't be peaceful. I was like, what's happening here? But yeah, so that's when I realized like I really just need to give it all to him and really just rely on him in every phase. You know, so it's interesting because it's like the exertion of the will is so different than the surrendering of the will. It almost feels like I don't know, like you're going with the tide instead of against it.
That's beautiful, love. Can I respond to that?
Yeah.
One of the things I loved about Baba when I was first reading everything I could get my hands on is he emphasized as humans who are on the spiritual path that we should feel our feelings, not avoid our feelings. And he would say, I want you to feel angry. Otherwise, you'd be no different than a stone. I don't want you to act on your anger. And when I read that, I was like, oh, that's very interesting. So it's not about suppression or repression of the feelings and emotions. It's about being self-controlled enough not to act on it. You know, I thought that was really fascinating. And that's a type of surrender. Because I think what happens is the ego justifies feeling angry, right? My ego does, right? That person cut me off on the road, or look how they're treating that child, or whatever. And then I want to get knives out, right? And chop them up. But Baba says, don't chop them up. I want you to forgive them, and I want you to love them, and I want you to surrender. And that's hard, right? He said that's super hard. He gave the example of the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him and his family. He had a disciple named Ali, who was his chief disciple. And Ali got into a fight with somebody and won the fight. It was like a wrestling kind of fight, like, not, they weren't trying to kill each other or anything. But when Ali won the match, the other guy spit in his face, and Ali was going to really get upset, and he instead hugged him and forgave him. And there was that sense of like Baba saying like that was the real victory, was not acting out on his anger, and forgiving and loving. I see Ben has his hand up.
Yeah, I like that. That reminds me of if you can love, what's Baba say? If you can love who you cannot love, or
Oh,
something
I've
like
got it. To love those you cannot love is to love me as I should be loved.
that. Yeah. And then also this thing about surrender also that we were talking about here is also this willingness to suffer, right? Because if you want to get your knives out and you're angry at someone else, but you hold it, then you're willing to take that and process that yourself and work with it with Baba. And that's when giving it to Baba becomes very useful. Obviously, all day long, I'm constantly Baba this, and life really is. It's kind of the Buddha thing. I mean, it's full of suffering. I mean, I probably suffer 1,000 small or greater ways every single day, and I try to get into this habit of Baba. I read something really beautiful. Maybe somebody else saw it. It was a Facebook post. It was a Baba quote. I can pull it up really quick. And I really liked this explanation here of this fasting of the mind. It's from Lord Mayher online, page 3,877. And he says, fasting of the mind, it is to have no thoughts. This in itself is impossible. But remember me as often as you can, and then your mind will not be in a fumble as to what to think of. You leave your mind to me by having my constant remembrance or taking my name, and there will be no food worth, and that means thoughts. It says thoughts in brackets. There will be no food worth the name for the mind to feed on. Thoughts of me will supersede all other thoughts in your mind.
That's a great quote.
Yeah, thanks for sharing that.
I really like that.
I don't know if I've heard that one.
Can you
I
do
had
the
neither.
last one again?
What was that?
Could you
Oh,
repeat that last one, please?
Last sentence.
yeah, it says thoughts. You know what? I'm gonna screenshot it, and maybe I can stick it in the chat. We'll see. But Lord, this says thoughts of me will supersede all other thoughts in your mind. And the thing I love about Baba, while I'm talking about this, I mean, there's so many, but is that he's so practical. Before I even met Baba, I noticed a lot of what many people might call woo-woo spirituality, and I try not to get into that because that's a judgment, but I know what it means. And it's like, yeah, I mean, let's just, for all intents and purposes here, like, yoga pants and just raising my arms in the air and all this going out in nature, that's all wonderful. And if it gets to God, great. But there can be a lot of fake it till you make it in that, I guess. And so even before I came to Baba, I was into this very practical spirituality kind of thing. I wanted to learn how to make my spirituality very practical. And it turns out, mastery and servitude is like the perfect motto for that. But I love how in the quote I just shared, how Baba is really getting into the mechanics of repeating his name and why that's so important. And it's pretty obvious, but I love that statement just clears it up so well. It's like, yeah, I mean, because that's what the mind wants. And that's what, was told to me by the guy. Actually, I met Bob in a counselor's office, and he actually didn't, I'm sure Baba was coming through him, but he told me something that really helped me at the time. He said, every aspect of you wants to survive. It's like that old Indian which wolf are you going to feed thing, it's like, but my anger, we're built for survival. Our primal, this this primal instrument of the body becomes sanctified and becomes a temple. But before that, it's an animal, and every part of us is like built to survive. Our depression, our anger, our joy, all of it. It wants more of its kind to reinforce its existence because we're built not to die.
Thanks for sharing that, Ben. That was beautiful. I see Jack's hand went up.
Yes, thank you. And thank you, Ben. And you reminded me of something that I just learned recently at the Young Adult Sahavas at the Meher Spiritual Center this past weekend, which is that Baba said, my name is more powerful than I am. And even I take my own name because it's more powerful than I am.
He did say that. That's beautiful, Jack.
Wow. Thank you.
Vanessa's hand is up.
You're muted, Vanessa.
In the love book that Laurent and I just released, I do have a paragraph or maybe a whole page about repeating Baba's name. But when I was 7 years old, one of the Mandali came to visit us and stayed with us. His name was Pukar, very large Indian, but he didn't speak any English. And so we had a picnic one day outside in our garden, and he was walking around, and I just remember feeling his presence, the baraka of, which is a term of feeling God's presence in him. And all he was doing was repeating Baba's name. And I remember that as a 7-year-old, it was incredible to see this giant man. He wasn't trying to communicate with us or anything. He was just absorbed in repeating Baba's name. And I just thought that was like very powerful, because he could have done anything. He could have been doing anything at that time, but he wanted to spend every moment he could repeating Baba's name. But I also wanted to say that when I was trying to find a quote for this evening, I realized that it just came to me that every single thing that Baba says is so truthful, and it's so pure, and it's so high, that just to try to aim to do what he says in these quotes, whether it be not to worry and be happy, or any quote, it's like there's a surrender, there's a series of surrenders just to get to that truth. And so I ended up, and I think I found this card, and I was thinking I have to share this with you all, because he gave us some simple eternal truths here on this card. It shows him serving one of the musts, but I had never really heard these 4 truths before. I mean, I've heard them, but I haven't heard them as stated as simple eternal truths. And it was delivered in May 1943. But it says, these are simple eternal truths, Baba said, which I want all of you to try your utmost to live. Number 1, amidst all your duties and attachments, let the background of all your thoughts be only the one thought that God alone is real and all else is illusion. And number 2, infuse into others the idea that the ultimate goal of all life is to know God in his true infinite aspect. And number 3, think less of yourself and more of others by trying to make others happy, even if you must suffer for it. And 4, learn for yourself and teach others that recognition of God's will means not to complain of your lot, that control of the mind means not to be upset by misfortunes, and that loving all his children of the same one God means not to be jealous of anyone and not to hurt the feelings of anyone.
That's like a manual to live by in 4 sentences.
Wow.
I know, isn't it? It's like amazing.
Where's that?
I just happened to pull out a Christmas card and I looked on the back of this photograph because I wanted to know who sent it to us. And there was these simple eternal truths right there on. I mean, I can try to take a screenshot and send it in the chat.
Does it have a citation on it?
It says Meher Baba.
I don't think we can send screenshots in chat. I just tried it.
Okay, Meher Baba, Meherbad, May 15th, 1943.
That's also during World War II. I could help you take screenshots, take photos of it and post it on Facebook. Okay. Well, we're at 5:46. So what I'd like to do is we have 9 of us go once around again and share final thoughts and feelings about surrender, because next time it'll be December, so it won't be surrender anymore. So I'll go last. Final thoughts and feelings about surrender before we wrap.
I'll go.
Okay.
Final thoughts about surrender before we wrap up. I think I'll just throw out this reminder that Baba said that the spiritual path is a series of surrenders, and it reminds me of a lot of things that everyone's been saying here, which is just that it's an impossible task, but we just keep trying because it's worth it.
Awesome. I love that. Thank you, Jack. Go ahead, Terry.
I think the best part of it is if you surrender, you just, when the pain and suffering of life really starts to get to you and you want to kind of get upset, you remember he's holding your hand and you're going to get through it to the other side.
That's beautiful. Thank you, Terry.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, I can go next. Also, it's good. It's awesome. A reminder for me to do. It's awesome because when I can get into modes of surrendering, relaxing, getting out of my own way, it actually feels really nice, and it's very blissful when I can actually, try and relax into it and relax into life and whatever's occurring. For me, it's good to remind myself of it because it actually also feels really nice. So yeah, thank you. Yeah.
Love that. Thank you, Joshua. Go ahead, Diane.
This is a very little thing, but we're retired right now, but I'm going through some health stuff. So I have a lot of bookings each day. That's my new job. And today there were back-to-back things, and it would have, if it had gone as scheduled, we would have been late to this. And as it was, we were 2 minutes late and I missed some juicy stuff. So I definitely did not want to be late any later than that. And the woman, instead of coming at 3:30, came at 3:15. And so we were able to do all of our chores of feeding the dogs afterwards before this and get here only 2 minutes late. And when I didn't try to control something, I just knew what I wanted was to be here on time. and then I let it go. I surrendered. That's to me surrender in a very profound way because I'm such a Virgo and producer type that I try and make things happen all the time. So
Mhm.
let it go was huge. Having to surrender, talking about surrender because we're going into December is already big enough, Laurent.
Well, we might be able to squeeze in some surrender talk in December. We'll see how we feel. Thank you, Diane. I see Betty's hand went up, and I saw Elias came off mute, so I think it's a flip of the coin. Who wants to go first?
Okay, I'll go ahead. Well, it has to do with Baba's timing lately is just like incredible. uh, and not procrastinating or being afraid. Let's see, how can I explain it? I was just in the middle of this a confrontation basically with my daughter, uh, and it was it was getting kind of intense, and I looked, and it was exactly, I just looked at the clock, it was exactly time to get on here, and I've been wanting to come on here, so I thought, that must be it. That must be the answer. So do it, like now. And often, yeah, often, God, the clock will. It'll be just time. It'll be time for Artie now. It's about Baba's timing, and that's and then surrender to it and do it. That's
Thank
all.
you. Thank you, Betty. Elias, I think you're up.
Yeah. So I think I often feel my ego feels a large resistance to surrender beforehand because so there's that resistance, and then Joshua was kind of speaking on the relief after the surrender, and for me, I feel like that really comes from the feeling that I it wasn't me kind of holding everything together in my world. That I don't have to have the answers. There's nothing for me to fix. And so that there's just this pressure that's lifted, and it's just so funny. The other thing I want to mention is, sometimes I can have what I think are the best intentions in the world when I'm trying to do something, and even then, it is my will, and it can cause chaos and confusion and for others and myself, and so inwardly finding that play between regardless of what I think is good or what I think is right and what I'm actually being called to do in the moment is subtle. So,
Yeah,
but
absolutely.
yeah, and also I'm just grateful to be here. So thanks for having me. Yeah,
Oh, I'd love to have you back. I'm so happy to finally meet you, Elias.
yeah, likewise.
We echo that. Please come back.
Who's left on the final thoughts and feelings? I know I'm going last. Vanessa?
Um, I just want to say everybody should host Jack in their house because every time I would try to like say something and try to get my, my concept across, he was like, "Oh, I've got the Baba quote for that." And then it would come out and I'd be like, "Oh my gosh, I need more Jack in my life." But he's got them all logged in there now. It's great. And he just brings them up whenever they're handy. I wish I had that skill, but that's my goal is to get a little more like Jack. I'm gonna bring up the Baba quote word for word. No, I'm just really I love this surrender and I feel like I've been on a journey of, it's like each surrender has kind of unwrapped a treasure inside of myself, and it's just been amazing to think that like the ultimate treasure is waiting for all of us, which is, that union with him. And I feel like with each surrender, there's like a little glimmer or a little light, a little more light than there was before. And, it feels so good, like Elias, what you were saying, like it really resonated with me, like thinking even of having good intentions for people or situations, like just letting go of it all and watching God, unfold everything in that perfect way that it unfolds. It's like being being able to just kind of rest and witness his beauty and his grace instead of feeling like I have to create it or save people or, all of that. So, yeah, it's like it's like a switching of gears, but it's I don't know, it's amazing because it just allows for that feeling of expanse and love, I think, that detachment and certainly being married to Laurent has been a delight, and we get to choose, a path together of surrendering together, and a relationship always offers those opportunities. But yeah, it's been so, I feel so blessed to A, have the avatar, and B, be able to be married to Laurent in a Baba marriage. So
Thank you, Baba.
yeah.
I love what you shared, love, and I want to segue because something you said really resonated with me. And I know I've said this before, but I think it's good for what we're talking about here, which is that you said with more surrender, you feel like more of the closeness to Baba, or getting closer to union, or the more love flow or whatever. And for me, that manifested when I really set my heart and mind towards the surrender, which was years ago. And that's a whole long story I don't want to get into. But when I really started focusing on surrender, I noticed a strange byproduct or side effect that I was not expecting at all, which was that I was trying to do this surrender project over here with Baba, and then over here I was feeling more intuitive, like the intuition flow was increased, the not just the frequency, but the clarity and the loudness of the intuition. I thought, how the heck, I was focusing on surrender, and how did that happen? And it was almost like this, I don't want to make it sound like there was some sort of bargain or transaction, but it was almost like Baba was saying to me, like, see, the less you follow what you think is important and what you want, the more you're going to hear what I'm telling you. It was really cool. And so I'm definitely doubling down on that.
Wow, that was a mega share.
Yeah,
Thank
that's
you.
Oh,
awesome.
thank you. That could be my rapper name, Mega Share.
Mega share. That was like the secret, one of the secrets.
You know, Eric said something very interesting now that you say that, love. In Mondali Hall, he said, with this avatar advent, there's no more secrets. Like, Baba just put it all out there. The God speaks and discourses, like all the things that used to be this, you got to enter the secret society and do the right handshake and be the
Meditate
disciple.
long enough.
Yeah, all
I,
that. He's like, Baba just said, like, here, just have it all.
I don't want to distract from the truth of what you're saying, but it makes me think of his secret book.
He didn't say it was a secret book. It's a missing book.
He didn't say secret,
Missing book.
right, but yeah, missing.
Baba said, if you read that book, you would get so much bliss from reading what I wrote in that book that it would rob you of your desire to move closer to the truth. You'd be so happy and so blissed out.
Wow.
So I think he's timed it
Yeah.
for the right timing. That's what I think happened.
I like that.
Because talk about surrender. Like, we know better when that book should be released. Come on.
No, keep it a secret.
It's not a secret. It's missing.
Who's this we you're talking about?
What we? Who? What we? We. Yes. Yes. Even.
He's talking about Baba lovers, right?
I don't know. What do you got, Ben?
I don't know, man. I had to wee wee in the night like 3 times last night. I don't know what's up with that. All right. Too much. TMI.
I think we reached the
And by the way, I heard a child at some point in the background. I want to apologize for my dropping of an F-bomb and anything else I said that might have
No, I put you on
been
mute.
not non-G rated.
Ben, I put you on mute a long time ago.
I know. You got it, babe. When I'm on here, you better have your finger on that trigger.
I do. I do. All right, let's do an Avatar Meher Baba Ki Jai. Avatar Meher Baba Ki Jai.
Avatar
Meher
Baba
Baba
Ki
Ki
Jai.
Jai.
Avatar Meher
Avatar
Baba
Meher
Meher
Baba
Baba
Ki
Ki
Jai.
Jai.
Okay, Baba, see you soon.